What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
There we go. Pop that up, man. All right. Let's get in here. Don't follow me. Don't follow. Locked in.
The breathing into the mic was something. I have to say.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. You seem so funny far away. You seem so little.
It's just so relaxing other than my regular chair. Yeah.
Where is your desk chair?
My desk chair is right off to what would be my left to your right.
Oh, okay.
It's literally just right there. Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome to episode number 66.
I was like, you should know it. You were excited.
I was going to say, I do not. Episode number 66 of the F1 Underground podcast. As you can tell, my office setup is a little bit different today. We'll get.
I can't hear you.
Hold the microphone.
Last thing they heard, I said, I can't hear you. So I hit pause.
Classic technical difficulties. We'll be jumping into a little bit of Spain recap.
Move it closer to your mouth.
We'll be jumping into some Spain recap. I feel like Crofty now with the mic like really close. We'll be jumping into some Spain recap for the third time. And then we will be jumping also into some Austria preview, which is our first sprint weekend.
No, it's not.
No, I know. You didn't let me finish.
Okay.
In what? How many? What was our first sprint race?
Miami was the last sprint weekend.
Miami was our last sprint weekend. Mm-hmm. That's right. That whole weekend still a blur to me. So
because it was, well, you also don't remember the sprint race because who you're decked out in today crashed out in the first turn, so you didn't really pay attention.
No, I did not really pay attention
because I think it went China, Miami. We had two sprint races back to back in China and Miami.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But we haven't had one since. I mean, it's Red Bull Ring. I feel like it's always a sprint weekend at Red Bull Ring. So
that's a fair point. So yeah, we'll jump into that, and then after our Austria preview, we will have there's a quick announcement. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Casey doesn't even know what it is. It's very cool. I'm very excited for it. So we will get into it. So as always, we'll start off with our meme of the week.
Meme of the week. Owen doesn't have one.
That. I do not have one, although I do kind of have one. But in the meantime, while Casey shows hers, I'm going to reach for my water bottle, and it's going to be very comical because my desk is really far away.
Okay. And then we also have we do have kind of weekly news, but it's not really weekly. Like one's a rumor that I don't think is going to come true.
Yes, yeah.
The other one I think will play a part into silly season pretty big, so I want to just quickly talk about that. But yes, meme of the week. So mine has to do with, the crazy, what's it called? Sorry, Hells, your username's in there. Mine has to do with a crazy Ferrari drama that took place after the race yesterday, and how Valtteri Bottas is always at the scene of the crime. So I did that. If I have a nickel for every time Bottas was at the scene of the crime, I have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice because the picture is Charles. It's very blurry because it was from like the onboard cam, I think from Charles' car, but it's literally showing Charles and Carlos, and it's not a calm conversation, but it's not like heated conversation also. But
right.
Valtteri, I also saw a video someone took from like the stands, and Valtteri Bottas is literally just standing there with his helmet on and just like looking at them, like totally taking it in. And then this is from, 2019, because Valtteri Bottas is in Mercedes
uniform.
With the famous incident between Max and Esteban Ocon and how they got into like that screaming, pushing match. But yeah, so that's my meme of the week. But I need to mention the famous meme that we were given exactly a year ago, last time we were in Austria. Nothing's ever topping this meme. I'm sorry. This put Oscar Piastri up there with the meme. This was the moment the jetpacker didn't land correctly, and they cut to Oscar's face, and he totally looks at the camera and pulls an office and makes a face, and immediately it was all over.
It is such an office look of just wow, that really happened. I also really like this because I could be totally wrong here, but obviously Oscar was in his rookie year at this time, and we didn't see much of his personality.
No.
So that was the first inkling of him probably feeling comfortable and goofing around a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to me, but I love it.
Yes. So that is my meme of the week. Owen doesn't really have one, but he kind of has one. So
I do. Well, I want to tell the story of this, and the meme of me building it because it is not fun.
You should have put the video of Angela bringing the box.
Oh my God, we should have. That would have been good. So obviously, if you follow me on Threads, you'll have seen the pictures of me talking about what was that face, Case?
It's 4-0.
Phil's?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Bryce was first, and then boom, just homered.
Very good. So you've seen the pictures. I've also talked about it on here before that I want to upgrade my racing sim setup. I'm getting slowly more and more obsessed with racing sims and being, it started with getting this wheel, and then it accelerated into getting this chair. And you'll see that, like I said, on my threads, I've posted about ordering it and whatnot.
Yeah.
I ordered it on Friday. I ordered it on Friday. We're recording this on a Monday, and it told me that it was going to be delivered today. And I was like, all right, that's fine. It's a big package. Who cares? Whatever. I was like, I'll have this upcoming weekend where I was like, I can use it and get accustomed to it and everything. And then Saturday morning, I woke up and I was watching, Saturday morning, I woke up and I was watching qualifying, and I get this notification, and it's like, hey, your chair is out for delivery. So I was like, oh, sweet. So lo and behold, Saturday, didn't have any time to put it together. It did come, though, Saturday. There is a really funny video of Ange just throwing the chair through the door. It's hilarious on our doorbell camera. So yesterday, I built it yesterday, and it came mostly pre-configured. It came this seat back was all together. It was just nice. the piece that holds the wheel right here, this back leg that supports me was needed to be put together and everything. But they gave you a monkey wrench and an Allen wrench to do it, because you did the one Allen wrench was to screw the screw in, and the other side, the monkey wrench, was to hold the bolt doing it. On the other end,
it's like IKEA.
Yeah. And the monkey wrench that they gave me was way too big for the bolt. So you would put it on the bolt to hold it, and then the bolt still had free room just to spin.
What?
In the monkey wrench. So, Case, me, when stuff is stupid like that,
I
get immediately very frustrated with it. And I'm sitting here in this office, first of all, with sweltering heat.
Yeah, it's so hot.
With only a ceiling fan to pump air around. And I'm just cursing up a storm. I am just like, you motherfuckers, why? What is this? All this stuff. It was an experience.
So you sound like that.
Yeah, I sounded like that. So I did get it together, as you can see. It is awesome. I did some time trials yesterday after I got it together. I just wanted to see how it is. And it is so nice. The fact that I can, you can't see it, obviously, with my feet. I'm not giving out feet pics for free. But when I press on the brake now on my pedals, I don't go moving backwards. And I'm not at the end of the race driving like this, because I'm reaching for the pedals at my feet and the wheel in front of me. So this is fantastic. It's so cool. I'm so happy. Or
that one time I played when you were living at home, and I pulled the wheel off of the desk.
Yes. Yeah. This is bolted in now. The
Nice.
pedals are bolted in, so like they're not going anywhere.
Sorry if you
and
hear
it
the
is-
sirens. There's a lot going
It's
on
so
outside.
nice. It's all right.
Um,
I'm sure you'll hear some of mine soon anyway, because we live right next to a dispatch. But whatever.
but what your next purchase? I can already see it. It's going to be a legit steering wheel.
Yes,
Not a
that
fit, but like
is-
what they mostly use.
So the other funny part of this too is this seat. One of the things that attracted me to it is that it's foldable and you can keep the wheel and the pedals on it while you fold it. And I'm like, perfect.
Oh, so you can put it away.
We don't have a lot of space here. I was like, it'll fit when I'm using it, and then once I'm done, I can fold it up, put it away. Right now, granted, yesterday was my first time folding it, but I folded it up. Still immense, still just like very large. And Ange comes home from work and she's like, where the fuck are we going to put that? Because it is still huge. But it's definitely better. So once we have, hopefully, the housing market ever decides to relax, once we have a house, I will definitely have more room for it. And hopefully it can just stay kind of in this configuration all the time. But that remains to be seen. So, yes, that is my meme of the week.
I like it.
Is how ridiculous this chair is and how much fun I'm going to have with it.
Yeah, so the first track fact, because we already have Austria filmed, so the first track fact video that will be recorded on the chair will be Silverstone. So
Silverstone, yes.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I do have to get used to the braking because, like I said, when I had it on my old setup, I was never fully confident in pressing the brake pedal.
Oh, yeah.
Press on the pedal a lot softer than I should have been. And now that I can give it like full force, like yesterday, I was driving on Monza yesterday and I was going into some of the chicanes and I was going too slow through the chicanes because I was braking so much more
Harder,
than I'm used to. So I was just like, oh shit, I'm struggling right now. So it takes some getting used to. But yes, the first track facts video with that'll be recorded on this is Silverstone. Yeah.
Silverstone, which is the end of our triple header. But yes, that was our meme of the week. Before we get into our, like I said, it's really not a lot of weekly news, so it'll be quick. As always, coupon code is at the bottom of the screen. Use Underground 10, and as Owen figured out last week, it's Underground with no vowels except the U.
Yeah.
10. And
So
when you're shopping at ipf1store.com, get sick prints of everything. They were posting stuff with Lewis today. They have new stuff. There's literally new stuff on their website all the time. But you can see everything if you follow on social media as well. So I recommend giving a follow. But yes, use the code Underground10 when shopping at IPF1 for 10% off. So that being said, we'll move on. Should I do the rumor first or the real news that everyone knows?
Do the real news because we can riff on the rumor a little bit and go that way.
Okay, let me hold on.
Because the real news does play kind of into the rumor news, but
yeah. So the real news is that Mick Schumacher and Jack Doohan are going to be testing for Alpine. I believe this week at Paul Ricard, which will be. I feel like it's pretty serious that they're letting both of them test. Yeah. They have been impressed with Mick Schumacher in his drive for them during with hypercars and stuff. Jack Doohan is patiently sitting there waiting. He got screwed out of not being able to run FP1 in Canada because of the issues. So, but he's there waiting. And honestly, an ideal, we said it not last week, but the week before maybe. I don't know what's happening out there.
Something's going down near you.
There's always something going on right here. It's because the entrance to the Blue Route's like up the street, so I feel like it's always something. Our UK friends that listen to this are gonna be like, "What the hell's the Blue Route?"
Yeah, right. We should say prick next and see what.
Yeah. But yeah, so Jack and Mick are gonna be driving the Alpine at Paul Ricard. We said it before, that's an ideal lineup, I feel like, for them. I do think Mick deserves another shot at driving an F1 car. I think he was given an awful, when he went to Haas, there was just an awful situation all around for him there. I do think if he was put in that Haas now, with Ayo Komatsu leading the team, it would probably be 10 times different.
Yeah, I think it will
of an
definitely be a little bit
experience.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see if we learn anything from that. If we get any kind of, you normally do find out when it comes to that, because like when Kimi Antonelli drove for Mercedes, you were able to find out like how he kind of did. So I'm sure Mick and Jack, you'll be able to see, and Jack's at every race because he's their like number one reserve driver. So someone's definitely going to ask him about it when they're in Austria. So,
of course.
I mean, he does all the post like F1 TV shows with Will Buxton at that little desk every week. So Will Buxton will definitely be asking him. Which Will Buxton is good luck, I feel like, when it comes to the drivers, the reserve drivers that he has with him at the desk, because it was Oscar, now it's Jack.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Jack does do a lot, because even like Mark got to talk to Jack at Miami. They had that little meeting with a bunch of reporters and everything that he was able to talk to him. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's a good sign.
Yeah. I mean, Will Buxton posted like a nice thing to Jack too, because obviously Jack's their reserve driver. So Jack's the one that's in the sim. So apparently he was up like almost all hours of the night, Friday into Saturday, got there Saturday, and then was there at the track the entire day doing media duties in the garage. But whatever he did in that sim worked out, because Alpine had a decent weekend. So no, I think I would love to see Mac and Jick. Mac and Jick.
Wow, that is a new one.
Thanks for listening. See you later. Bye.
That's a new one.
I gotta clip that one, you know.
Holy crap. Mac and Jick.
How was I the one to call it out, not you?
Yeah, you beat. I wasn't even like a thought in my head before you made that mistake. You corrected yourself.
My goodness. Okay, moving on.
You're too conditioned when you're with me.
Yeah, because I'm just like, no, I gotta beat you to it because I know you're gonna call me out. Okay. Moving on to the rumor. Also with Alpine.
I was gonna say it's also Alpine news.
Yeah, also Alpine news, but it is regarding, or there was all these things that the Carlos to Williams was going to be announced this weekend. You had reporters like teasing it and tweeting it. You had the TV crew being like, I think it's coming.
I was convinced it was happening.
Yeah, I was convinced too. I mean, it was the perfect weekend. It was his home race. It was the perfect weekend. But we now, I think, know the reason why is because the Alpine team was, put their cap in the,
throwing their hat in the ring
race, and we're talking to Carlos's crew, and now I think there might be entertaining an option there, which I think I want him to go to Williams more. Alpine's just too unstable.
Listen, do I think? First of all, the latest I heard about it was Alpine did send him an offer, and apparently it was very good, is what I heard. Like, he really liked it, and it was a very good offer. From the Alpine's perspective, I think it's a great move. I think you're kind of in this team space right now where you're like, we're really struggling. We need to do something. And you obviously have the news that Esteban Ocon's leaving, so you know that seat is open. And then if you can sign a very good driver, a very top-tier driver in Carlos Sainz, that's going to rebuild a lot of confidence in some of your fans and some of the people who are kind of like looking at this year like, what the fuck's going on? From a Carlos Sainz perspective, I like the Williams move a little bit more. I think that's because I'm a little bit more partial to Williams than I am Alpine.
Alpine just seems a little, like I said, not reliable and a little sketchy right now.
I'm still mad at Alpine for what they did with their car reveal.
We're never letting them get away with that one.
This is my pettiness coming out and saying you don't deserve a top driver like Carlos Sainz, and he should go to Williams. But I also do really want to see the resurgence of Williams, just because I like James Vowles as a team principal for them. I like that he's so data driven, and they do remind me a lot right now of like the Flyers, in the sense that they're like, we are doing what we need to do to rebuild and come back. And this is a signing, or Carlos Sainz would be a signing again, that it would be like, this is the step we're taking, and this is the thing that we're doing to show our fans like, hey, we are doing this. We are rebuilding.
No, that's what I'm saying. I like how open and honest they are about where they are, Williams, what they know they need to do. I also posted. I think I posted this. I forget who I posted this to today. Maybe Terry at F1 Coffee Corner. I think I might have posted to him because I said I'm just nervous. Carlos entertaining another offer is going to piss off Williams.
There is that chance. Yeah,
like he's just playing the long game.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like I get it because maybe I was talking to someone about this today. He didn't think he'd be in this situation, and he is older for the sport.
Right.
So like, where does he go, and does he have to settle? But yeah, I like him and Williams the best. I think you should go to Williams. I think you should.
I think Williams is the best move for him. I mean, anywhere you go, unless it's Red Bull, at this point, is a step down from.
Yeah.
You know, you're leaving one of the most iconic, not one of, the most iconic racing team, you know, ever. And you're going to another team. So, like, any move that you make is going to be seen as
a step down. Yeah.
You know, and that's tough to reconcile with, probably personally for Carlos. Like, he's probably really stuck on that of, like, what team do I go to like, lessen that blow. But, yeah, I think the idea of him going to Williams, I think, would be a little bit better for Carlos than Alpine. I agree with you on what you're saying of, like, Alpine is, to me, just feels a little too chaotic right now, and they don't have a clear kind of direction of where they're going. And Williams is very much like you said, very open and honest about, like, we know where we are in the stack. You know, like, we know that we're kind of like a bottom field team. We're trying to fix that, and here's the moves we're making. They have it feels like with James, they have a very clear direction of, this is where we're going. This is our target.
This is what we're going to do.
Yeah. You know, and signing Carlos, again, is that step forward of, this is how we're rebuilding. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that the best. Alrighty. That was, like I said, that was our weekly news. But yes, moving on to Spanish GP recap. Before that, Owen.
Before we jump into this, there's actually kind of two announcements today.
Yeah, I was saying there's two.
We have one. Well, the announcement later is for the Underground Network as of a whole. This announcement, though, is to us. It's for our show. It's very cool. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is cool.
We have a new.
Speaking of Williams.
Yeah, really. We kind of segued right into it. We have a new partner for this show, and it is Duracell. Duracell batteries. They are selling like big power banks. You can see I just grabbed my script real fast to read it off because I don't know it yet. Just found out about this like 30 minutes ago, so I'm super excited about it. And this ad read's going to be brutal.
First time.
But, yeah, first time. So I will be reading right off the script. But our race recap portion of the episode, my lights just flickered, so our power probably just fluctuated a little bit.
You're fine.
Fun. This portion of today's episode is powered by our new partner, Duracell Portable Power Stations. From the #1 trusted battery brand, Duracell Portable Power Stations and charging hubs allow you to power your laptops, mobile devices, lights, speakers, and any small electronics that make your life easier during a power outage, convenient, or while away from a wall outlet. Clearly, you just saw it. I don't know if anybody did, but my lights flickered, so it would be really nice if I had a mobile
right now
to plug my stuff into. We all need mobile power stations. You're outside, you need to charge your phone. If you're at an F1, you're at a race, you're out there all day, you don't have an outlet to plug into. It's a perfect example for that. So please go click the link in our description and check out the Duracell Portable Power Stations, including their 2024 Red Dot Award-winning M150 and M250 models, and untether your device charging from the wall and power the possibilities with Duracell Portable Power Stations. That was my ad read. I thought that went pretty well.
That was going good.
I was reading right off the script, so that does help. But yeah, I'm very excited about this. I just literally, I think 30 minutes before we hopped on today to record, I was having a phone call with Kyle, and he told me about it, and we're super excited about it just because we've interacted with Duracell before on social media and whatnot.
In the early days of Threads, it's been a while, but in the early days of Threads.
In the early days of Threads, they do know that we exist.
Yeah, they do.
They especially know that we exist now. And they're also just right on the Williams car, which is what we've said multiple times is our favorite part of the Williams car. It's just the battery right there. Which, by the way, if that battery is back next year in that same spot, that's like a mainstay of the car then. That's like, I guarantee you, like Duracell's like, we'll pay you extra to put the battery there. You know? So, super excited. But yeah, race recap powered by Duracell. If you're interested, check out the links in our description. We're super excited. Thank you, Duracell.
Thank you, Duracell. And then maybe they can bring back the bunny, too, because I know they had the bunny just for Monaco, but I need it back all times. All times, please. Thank you. But yes, now into our Spanish GP recap, which was like drama, I feel like, with a certain red team. Some amazing overtakes, which I feel like we haven't seen a lot of good overtakes in a little bit, but they were wild, especially Lewis Hamilton. But before we get into anyone else, we have to start with Mercedes because we have to start with that George Russell start because
I was going to ask you where
spectacular.
Where were we going to start? And I was going to recommend Mercedes.
Yeah.
What a ballsy, just like, I'm going to throw my elbows out and I'm going to take over. Like, it was awesome to see.
When he goes into turn one, I literally was like here and I was like, George Russell?
Yeah. And the way he like swoops into off camera, and because you like the main shot, which understandably so, is focused on Lando and Max because they're driving into turn one. You saw Lando kind of try to cover Max off, and then
which opened door for George.
Crofty's in the back, and he's like, "Oh, look at this great battle!" Like Lando tries to cover Max, blah blah blah. They're coming into turn one, and then all of a sudden it's just like, "Oh, and here's George Russell like coming across," and it was so cool to see. It was an awesome start to the race, and honestly, like, really set the tone for what the race was going to be. It was high energy. It was overtakes galore. It was awesome to see, and there was tons of drama too.
Tons of drama. I mean, the whole weekend, but there was tons of drama. But yeah, going from P4 to P1 in the span of a turn.
Yeah,
and not making contact with anyone. Like, George Russell of Williams would have hit someone. Like, the way that when you, like you said, the camera angle where it's dead on, because I posted 10 threads, and I literally watched it so many times.
I was so happy you did that, because I watched it like 2 or 3 times, too.
It's almost like magic, because he's so directly behind Max, you don't see him at first, and then it looks like he pushes Charles Leclerc over, but he doesn't. It's just the way, because I think Charles had the same thought. They both go over, but George just goes, excuse me, and goes right up in front. Like,
so cool.
So cool. And then, he led it for, I think it was a few laps before Max inevitably took the lead. Yeah. And then Lando got second place back. But that was an electric start to the race.
Awesome start.
Kudos to George because, like I said, people were like, that might be like the first, like insane move from him. Like there might not be a lot to George Russell's resume, but that one is definitely
one's up there.
Top.
Yeah. Like you said, the fact that he went P4 to P1 and
in the span of a turn.
In the span of a turn. And it was not only are you getting past somebody off the jump, you're like immediately just getting past Lewis P3. Who was P3? Lewis was P3. You're not only are you jumping Lewis right off the start, but then to get to P1 is a double overtake. Double overtake. On the outside on the first turn.
You're right. You're not on the racing line there. You're
He went wide. He went wide and just wrapped right around them. Like he just full scented. I have full trust in my tires' grips and just ascended into this turn. And he did. And he did not take anybody out. He made no contact with anybody.
No.
It was beautiful, and I guarantee you it will be overtake of the month. Like,
well, okay, but there's that one, but then you have the Lewis overtake on Carlos, and that one was
true.
That one was insane and beautiful as well. I also posted that one yesterday, and people were like, and "This is what Drive to Survive fans like think with an overtake without DRS." Like mind blowing. I was like, okay, everyone has their like an opinion, but if you look at how many people that were liking and commenting it that thought it was cool, I'm not alone here. It was a good overtake.
It's
also,
like there's no need to hate on it.
Turn 1 just was like for great overtakes because you had George, you had Lewis on Carlos. Is that when Charles overtook Carlos? Oh no, Charles, they swapped. But that was when Carlos overtook Charles. And
yes.
Then they almost had to give the place back. Was there anyone else? I can't remember. But there was at least 3 notable overtakes right there at turn 1. But yeah, also very clean start. No one retired, no DNFs. Yeah. So I'm excited to see someone just happen to ask Kells this week, can we vote no one DNFs? And they were like, oh yeah, you can. I haven't thought of it like that.
Like never thought about it that way. Yeah.
And they were spot on because they were like, I just have a feeling these cars are very reliable recently. There's going to be no DNFs. And look where we are, no DNFs. So
that's good.
Yeah, clean race. I also think it's important to note, we're kind of jumping all over the place.
That's fine.
Alex Albon started from the pit lane because they changed his power unit after park for May hours or whatever. So he started from the pit lane. By lap 2, he was in 17th place. He was above Logan. I was like, how are you above Logan?
I did notice that too because I remember watching it when they do the little graphic before the race starts of the grid and they go from back to front. And it pops up and it was like, oh, Alex Albon, he's starting from the pit lane. And I didn't know that. I was like, oh, shit. All right, I missed that. Whatever. And then I remember 5 laps in, I was just scanning the leaderboard. And it was like you said, up to 17th place, 17th, 16th, somewhere around there. And I was like, all right, Alex, sure.
Alex had a good race because at one point I also looked. It's halfway before maybe the second pit stop for everyone. He was up to 11th place. I was like, okay, Alex Albon, maybe I should have put you on my fantasy team because you're overtaking and that gives you the points. I was like, you should have. But then he did drop back down with, what's it called? Where did he end up finishing? Okay, so he finished 18th, but still, that's not awful for starting in the pit lane. But yes, I don't even know. We kind of just covered Mercedes, but we can go back. I think Mercedes has it figured out. I also feel like the anonymous email might have worked.
Yeah, it is. It really, part of the drama was that whole anonymous email mess. And I don't know if it looks better or worse. That Lewis finished on the podium and did so well because it's
all weekend.
If you look at it, okay, it's true. If you look at it, it's okay, better for Mercedes if you take that road. It's hey, look, clearly we're not sabotaging Lewis's car. He just finished 3rd on the podium. Look at how good he did all weekend. Look at all this, look at how well, everybody did all weekend, blah, blah, blah. And then you look at it on the flip side and you're like, okay, well, if it looks for worse, then it's shit, we got called on doing this. Let's fix his car or let's unsabotage his car. And look at that. Lewis ends on the podium. So it's which we, it's really kind of leaves it up to the viewer of just glass half full or glass half empty type of person of yes, they sabotaged it. And that's why he finished 3rd because they got called on it. Or look, no, they didn't sabotage it. And he finished on 3rd. He got his podium. It's definitely, I think, regardless, it's not the best look for Mercedes when that email drops and then it's Lewis is 3rd. Look at that.
No, and I mean, if you want another chuckle, go read at the comment sections on Mercedes Instagram posts. I think of Lewis on the podium or whatever when they did the 3rd place graphic. The one is maybe we should send an email every week.
Yeah, I did see that one actually. I did scroll through the first couple few and I was cracking up with it, but it was. Yeah, I mean, talk about either a major coincidence or
they called them out and it was true.
Called on their shit, yeah,
yeah.
Also called on their and fixed it, Yeah,
no, it's definitely it was. I see it as okay. Were you actually sabotaging him? Because and also how people had this theory that because he was leaving the team, they weren't posting him ever.
Yeah.
And then there was the whole issue when they posted the first trophy of the season. Everyone's no, the tweet got community noted on Twitter. People were no. literally the Twitter header is the picture of Lewis laying on the couch. They've posted him nonstop. People are like, I think we have a new social media admin.
Yeah. It's either a new person or one higher up, like, saw that admin was getting called out on it and was like, hey, you gotta balance this shit out now. Like,
or whoever approved that trophy tweet was like, you're gone. Because that trophy tweet was ridiculous. But yes, I think Mercedes figured it out. I'm excited to see them. They said Barcelona is that's where they used to do preseason testing. It's a good factor to see how cars will work, like how well they'll work on those traditional circuits for the European legs, since they mostly are. So that looks good for Mercedes. It does not look good for Ferrari, I feel like, but we'll get there.
We will get there.
Yes, I'm just looking through. V-Carb, we can make this quick. Those upgrades, I don't know what they were, but they were not good.
They were not upgrades.
No.
That's
they were
not upgrades.
And they kept, like, hyping them up. They're like, I was listening to the F1 TV crew with, like, during practice and stuff, and they're like, it's like a B-spec car. It's totally different. And then, like, they're out Q1. Like, I'm sorry.
Not a good look.
Not a good look. Not at all. Because not a good look. Like, and Yuki's done so well, and he finished 19th. Like, that's not... Yeah, not a good look at all. Moving forward, Aston Martin, I don't think it was not a great weekend for them. I didn't say I noticed them, other than people were saying it was a weekend to forget for Fernando Alonso being at home.
Yeah, a lot of the broadcast, from what I remember, was talking about, you know, this is a Barcelona weekend that Aston Martin and specifically Fernando Alonso will kind of just want to move on from.
Yeah,
and just, hey, it happened, you know, and go from there. I don't even remember what they finished, to be honest with you. I don't think it was within points. I think it was like 12th and 14th or something like that. I'm like pretty sure that's where it was. But
oh my god, you're dead on. Alonso was 12th, Stroll was 14th. So, and they were lapped. The top 11 were the only people that weren't lapped. It was lapped all the way up to 12. So
yeah, that's what I think I posted about it. I can't remember if I typed it up and like decided not to post it or if I did. When Lando was chasing Max towards the end of the race, I was going to post about how there was like 6 cars between.
There was so much traffic.
Yeah, 6 cars between Lando and Max. And I was like, this is going to be like, yes, you would think theoretically, or they should, all those cars should get the blue flag for Lando, saying, hey, he's coming up, let him pass you. But obviously, we've seen incidents before in the past where cars have tried to pass a lapped car and it's caused an issue. So it's like, just seeing that, I was like, this is not the best look when you're already 5 seconds behind and you have to catch Max.
No, I also saw the same thing with Charles and George at the end. I had like the live timing up.
Yes.
If he had, I think it was also the same for Lando to get Max. If there was maybe 2 more laps, they each could have passed, like Lando could have passed Max, Charles could have passed George. There were Charles got the gap down, but there were so many cars in the way, to just get by. And I feel like you said, the blue flags, that's what makes, because IndyCar race was so much later yesterday. I literally fell asleep at the end because I was so tired for some reason.
Dead, yeah.
It was started at 6:30, so by the time the race ended, it was 8:30. So because there was 99 laps, which beautiful circuit. The corkscrew is so cool.
Yeah.
They literally were comparing it to James Hinchfield was like, it's like you're going off the ledge of a parking garage that's like 4 stories high. That's like the elevation change, like quick. I don't quote me on the exact floor, but it was a wild, like him saying that, I was like, putting that into perspective, you're like, Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So, but there was one instance, I think it was Pillow or Herta was back out there and they literally were fighting with someone that was like in 12th.
Yeah.
To get around. And they were like, "Hey, we finally gets around." Like, I forget who it was. It was a rookie. And they're like, "Oh, he finally gets around the rookie." I'm like, finally. Like, they just weren't like, let him pass. Like,
just wasn't giving him the room for it. Yeah.
You just have to fight and stuff. That's the one thing I feel like which makes IndyCar fun, because then incidents could happen and everything with different cars. We mentioned that at the beginning. Alpine, they did look good this weekend. They
Scored
both
points again.
Finished in the points. Yeah.
Can I
9th
try
and
again?
10th. Oh,
Damn
I said it. 9th and 10th.
Yeah, you're right. It's all right. I was
Um,
gonna guess wrong anyway. I was gonna say 7th and 9th.
They weren't that high. Yeah, 9th and 10th, it was Gasly and Ocon. No drama between them.
No, there was a clean.
No French war
for
this
them.
weekend. It was an Italian war today.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm pretty sure I said this when the whole Monaco shit happened, and it was a good weekend for Alpine because both their drivers didn't fight. They scored some points, which is just at this point an added bonus for them. Like,
They just had a clean weekend, and that's all they need. A clean
that's all they
weekend.
needed.
Yeah. So yeah, nothing really to note on them. Haas. I
got a penalty.
So did Hülkenberg.
So did Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg did get a penalty.
And Yuki. They got the penalties for speeding in the pit lane. So they all got 5-second penalties.
Yes. That is pretty much it. They didn't really do much.
Do you want to guess where they finished? Because it is
not. I know they didn't finish in the points. Is that like a no? Like, yes, they did not finish in the points, or like, no, you're wrong?
No, they did not finish in the points, but one was close.
All right, so somebody got 11th. I'll say that's Hülkenberg.
Mm-hmm.
And K-Mag got 14th.
No, you know who got 14th.
Oh, that's right. It was a fucking Max Stroll. K-Mag got...
You know where the way...
16th.
Oh, 17th.
Damn it.
Yeah,
I was trying to do the math in my head of like, okay, Logan was last. Then it was both V-carbs. Then it was...
Oh, no, it's not both V-carbs.
Oh, did Alex split the V-carbs? The V-carbs are low, right? Are they not?
So it goes Logan, Yuki, Alex, K-Mag, Bottas, Ricardo, Stroll, Joe, Alonso, Hülkenberg, and then that's up to 11. Sauber?
Nothing. The most coverage, the most thing I know about the race is your meme with VB being in the drama.
Well, and then there was the scooter video of K-Mag, Valtteri Bottas and Alonso in the paddock, and Bottas is like coming up behind him and like overtakes him, but then Alonso sees and they start like having a race. It literally, they're grown men and they turn into like 10-year-olds on their scooters racing on the sidewalk. I literally posted, I said, can someone give these two a TV show? I don't care what they do. I'll just watch it.
Yeah.
I'll just watch it all. But yes, that's all I can say. We did Aston Martin, we did Sauber, we did V-Carb, Alpine, Williams, Haas. Talked about Mercedes. Top 3. I feel like my faves deserve a little bit extra.
Yeah, all right, so here's what we'll do. We'll start with Red Bull. Obviously, you had Max won the race.
By not a lot.
Yeah, Lando was catching him at the end.
You need to work for it again.
Which I saw a couple people on social media saying, like, oh, Max won, like, whatever race, like, boring race, whatever. I don't think it was a boring race.
No, it's not. It wasn't boring.
Because it wasn't like Max won by, like, 20, 30 seconds like we're used to. It was Max won by 3 seconds, and Lando was catching him. So I just want to put that out there. Not a boring race, at least in my opinion.
Was it? Was it Montreal? Or if we said of Lando, if there was an extra few laps, or what race was it? If it went on for like
that was Imola. If Imola went one more lap, Lando would have had Max and won that race.
Gap to Max was 2.219.
Yeah. So the fact that we're at this point in a year which we thought was just going to be again Max winning by 30 seconds makes every race not boring for me. So I'm happy with that.
And we had good. We had good overtakes. It was not boring.
Yeah, we had great overtakes, all this stuff. Max wins. He overtakes Lewis Hamilton. I saw this stat. He overtakes Lewis Hamilton for amount of wins. They were tied at 60, I believe, and now Max has 61. I think I remember seeing a stat. I'm pretty sure it's 60 and 61. But Checo, okay weekend. I think he was like 7th or 8th.
He was 8th.
Somewhere he was 8th. So okay weekend. It kind of feels like he's starting to struggle again.
No, see, I feel the opposite. I feel like
Really?
because he has been struggling so much, I feel like is he turning it around? Because Canada,
Okay.
Canada, he didn't finish.
Right. True.
Monaco, he didn't finish.
Monaco didn't finish.
And those two,
right.
he didn't have good qualifying. Imola, he got 8th. So I feel like,
Okay.
is he coming around? Is it?
All right.
Is the struggle not going to be as long as it was last season? Like, is it going to be shorter? And he's now starting to come back. I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
I like to think of it that way. I like to buy more into that idea than the idea of him struggling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. So 8th points for the team. He finishes the race. There you go. Where did he make it in qualifying? Did he make it to Q3? Right?
Yeah, he did. That's what I'm saying. I
right.
think it's the start of the turnaround. He made qualifying.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for Red Bull. Nothing else.
He literally qualified and ended the race where he ended the race is where he qualified.
Where he qualified. Okay. All right. Good work, Checo. Jumping into McLaren.
Wait, also, can we... Okay, Red Bull pit stops. I know they're fast. We don't even need to talk about it. But the fastest one for Max was 1.9.
I did see that.
And then, when you have... Alpine had a slow one. I think it was,
Alpine had a 7-second.
Yeah, and just thinking, comparing the two, how many Red Bull pit stops for Max you could have fit in that one Alpine that's only 7 seconds.
7 seconds, yeah.
It just really puts into the perspective how good that pit stop crew is. It's no wonder they have, Guinness World Record.
Yeah.
They're sickening, just like the driver.
They got their shit together, that pit crew.
Yeah. I would love to see slow-mo, how much they do in a slow-mo video in a 1.9 pit stop. Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
I'm going to clip this and post it to our Red Bull Threads admin friend because...
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Yeah, Alpine had a 7-second pit stop. I think that was the longest pit stop of the race. I could be wrong. I don't remember seeing any major issues with anybody that was a 20-second pit stop or something like that.
I'll look it up while you start talking about...
So McLaren, big race for McLaren. I want to start with this. That beautiful set of turns between Lando and George, where we saw the overtake after overtake after overtake. And it was Lando had gotten past George and he was trying to pull away from him. They're going through some high-speed corners, though. I can't remember what turns it was. And then George overtakes. And then right after, Lando overtakes. And it's just... That is so exciting to watch as a viewer, and it just makes the race that much more fun. It was just so cool to see because it's you're this mini battle within the race of just everything else happening. So it's it was so much fun to watch.
Okay, wait, I have it. Haas had a pit stop that was literally 9.02.
Oof!
On lap 29.
I missed that one. All right, so Haas with the longest pit stop of the race.
Oh, was that a 5-second penalty, though? Can we count that?
If or no, they add that 5-second penalty, then no. But even if it is a 5-second penalty, that is still a very slow pit stop because then you have a 4-second stop.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, yeah, regardless. But
back to McLaren.
Good weekend all around, I think, from the team. You score points. Oscar had... I think he was a little bummed, Oscar, just with the weekend in general, but I don't think it was a bad weekend. He finished 6th, 5th, 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finished behind the Ferrari.
So, yeah, you're still getting points there for the team, so you're still making ground. You continue the trend of both McLaren drivers scoring points in every single race so far this year. And you add to the total of you guys are the longest surviving, have completed the most laps this year. I'm pretty sure that's their record, I think.
Yeah, because I don't think they've retired.
Yeah. So you continue that trend. You're delivering consistency for the team. And that's what, compared to last year, you're doing so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Lando, man, that was his race to win. That was
totally his race to win. If he didn't lose that first turn, at the start.
Yeah.
That was his race to win because they were clearly the faster car.
Yeah, they were definitely the fastest car. I think that goes to show with the fact that he was catching Max at the end of the race. And yeah, he lost. I mean, he lost it on that first turn. He lost it off the start, which
because then he burnt those tires too quick and then stayed out so long. Even I was getting nervous. I was like, Lando, please pit. Like, you've been out there so long on those soft tires.
I was getting really nervous about it because I was like, the more you leave him out there, there's a good chance that he maybe goes off the track, he fucks up somewhere else, he locks up. It's just anything that can happen when you're running soft tires longer than they need to be going. Listen, you got P2. You lost the race. You lost the race when you were on P1. You got P2. You got the fastest lap. Like, you still made good points. And that's all you can ask for. Again, you're continuing this trend of consistency for McLaren right now. So would I have loved if he won the race? Of course. Am I upset with what the outcome was and the falling of points now in drivers and constructors championships, which we'll get into after we talk about Ferrari? No, not at all. So yeah, I think overall, good race from McLaren. I'm happy with it.
And I posted this earlier because we will go into Ferrari. I think someone said, can McLaren now be in the fight for the constructors? I think yes, and I think Mercedes, yes. If Mercedes continues on their progression and Ferrari, that's all I got to do. Shake my head. Like, I think we could have 4 teams in the fight for constructors, which will make it so exciting.
Good. Get the scene from 2014 Godzilla where he's the doctor staring out over the ocean. It's like, let them fight.
Let them fight. That's like, let them go. Please let them fight. So yes, Ferrari. What?
Sorry.
Well, you weren't saying anything. It was me. So we've had 2 technical difficulties now, if anyone's counting.
Classic for us.
Yes, Ferrari. I first have to say yesterday was a little heated when the race ended because there was a lot of drama between the 2 of them. And I was fully on, obviously, Charles Leclerc's side. Now, looking back at it, they are both at fault with their comments in the media pen after. Both completely at fault. And I will throw Fred in there as well because what Charles was saying, so there was the overtake Carlos took on Charles at the beginning, which was completely unnecessary. I think so. It was ruthless because you could have, once again, they could have taken each other out and been out of the race. Right. And that would have been obviously the worst case scenario. But what Charles said after, they decided beginning of the race to slowly warm up those tires and to go slow to save them for later on. And that's when he was like, obviously Carlos was with his comment that I now look back, I'm like, it is pretty savage. I'll give him that. But he's like, it was obviously his home race. He wanted to do something special. I just don't think I was the right person to do it with. And I agree. He should not have been the person to do it. That should not have been against Charles, not your own teammate. But then you have Carlos who's saying, I don't know, he just likes to complain about things after the race. When I could bring up 4 instances where he complained on the radio. People that I know that are hardcore Carlos fans were like, he is being annoying. Yeah. Like, he was being so annoying. Just shut up, Carlos, and drive the damn car. Just drive. It was so annoying because that overtake on Lewis was clean. Was there maybe small contact? Yes, but your car wasn't wrecked. No. He wanted the rule book, and then he was immediately complaining, and then he immediately was like, what, is there any news? Because I sent it to the FIA to be noted. Yeah. Carlos, drive your car. Just drop it and keep going. Let it go, because then obviously there was no further investigation, and he goes on this long rant. It's like, what's the point of there being a rule book anyway if they're not going to follow it? And Ricky, his engineer, was like, yeah, the way his comment back was like, Carlos, you just did the same thing earlier on your teammate. Yeah. Literally the exact same move almost. But yeah, regardless, it was not a good weekend. I don't know where their pace went. Race pace and quali pace. There was something weird. They also brought big upgrades, and I don't think they worked that well.
No, I definitely think that they didn't work as well as I think they were hoping. And I think
No, they were like hyping them up so much, and they definitely were not as good as they predicted them to be. Which is worrying because of how many traditional circuits come up over the summer and how well Mercedes looked and McLaren look, and obviously Red Bull and stuff. So it is worrying. Ferrari PR is going to be working overtime. I already know it. They already posted their poster for the upcoming race, and it's some like cute picture of like Charles and Carlos walking together in their race suits, holding their helmets, and it's like, yeah, okay, we know what you're trying to do. A triple play. We know what you're trying to do.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So annoying.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so I think they just need to rein it in. I get it if Charles seemed, I want to say not his normal self, because I also know it was the 7-year anniversary of his dad's passing this weekend because he posted and stuff, but like,
right,
he didn't seem like his normal self. So maybe there is tension brewing even more. I think there has been tension brewing within that team, and I think that race yesterday, as K-Mag said, Carlos is the cork in the bottle with all the, like, I took the words right out of your mouth for all the other team race driver moves. I think the cork in the bottle went off on the, what's it called? The tension. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I can already can predict the quotes coming from both of them, because they're going to be like, no, like there's no tension. Fred even too.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that they have to put that weekend behind and move forward completely. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. But yes, I don't think there's anything else to add. That was pretty solid. What's it called? Recap. Quick and easy, but we got some decent points. But yes, before
dive now into our leaderboard updates.
Yeah, I know you do. I don't really want to, but I know you do.
Yeah, I do. That's right. That's why why do you think I wore all this gear today?
But that's because but here's the thing. I know it because I know why. But that could be a brilliant battle.
Oh yeah.
A brilliant battle. That's why I need Ferrari to get their shit together and the tension inside the team to go away, because
disappear. This
battle for second place could be amazing.
Yep. All right, so let's rip through our leaderboard updates. We will go through drivers' championships and then constructors' championships. For drivers, I just kind of do the top 10 with their points.
But I think it's important to note that Ollie Bierman is still 13th.
Ollie Bierman is still 13th.
He has a better point standing in F1 than he does in F2. So let's put that.
Yeah, so Ollie currently is ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Alex Albon, Kevin Magnussen, Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, and Logan Sargent in the points. But yeah, jumping right into it. In 10th place, we have Yuki Tsunoda with 19 points. In 9th place, we have Fernando Alonso with 41 points. That's not where he wants to be at all.
No, not after last year.
No, and even more so with this person. In 8th place, we have Lewis Hamilton with 70 points. Obviously, big weekend for Lewis, getting on the podium again. His first podium of the season. So hopefully that maybe will kickstart some stuff, but we'll just see. Ahead of him in 7th place is his teammate, George Russell, with 81 points.
That could be an interesting inter-team battle for a stand.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Ahead of George, Oscar Piastri, the Australian, with 87 points. He's in 6th place. And then getting into your top 5, number 5, we have Checo Perez with 111 points. In 4th place, we have Carlos Sainz with 116 points. So there's a 5-point difference between Checo and Carlos. So there's
so many. Okay, you're saying this, but I'll say something when you're done, guys.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle as well. Mm-hmm. And it's just the points are so close right now, and
but there's more.
Yeah. In new spot, 3rd place, Mr. Charles Leclerc with 148 points.
Not by a lot, but
No, not by a lot. But for the first time in his career, P2 and the Drivers' Championships belong to Lando Norris with 150 points. This is also why I was not upset with the weekend and how he finished P2, because you still made progress and you still overtook Charles in the points. And you know what? That's awesome. And I think it just goes to show that Lando is improving as a driver and McLaren is improving as a team. And then in first place with a solid 69-point lead, I think. 50. Yeah, 69-point lead. Max Verstappen with 219 points. So he has a healthy gap, but it's not as much as he did last year, which is, again, awesome to see.
This time last year, like, when can Max win the championship by? Because that's how far ahead he was. Okay,
we started doing the math of it.
What I wanted to say, 8th through 2nd, there are multiple battles. So obviously you have the Mercedes battling, but you also have the Mercedes with Oscar battling. But Oscar could probably catch Checo, and does Oscar catch Carlos? There is a lot that could easily change very quickly.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to say that.
I posted during the race, I don't know if you saw it, I posted a screenshot saying, like, halfway through the race, this is what would happen if the race were to end now. I think I might have to start doing that at every race because it's such a cool way to think about it and like such a cool aspect.
Well, that's why I texted you.
Yeah, and especially now with, like you just said, the proximity between all the drivers in 8th to 2nd place is wild in terms of points.
Well, and that's why, like, Charles not, like, if there was a few more laps because Charles was so close to getting George, and you said Charles needs to overtake, was it Carlos and?
Yeah, it was Carlos
and George. And he obviously they swapped, so that was easy. So then, then he was so close to getting George, and he was closing that gap to then. And if you looked at the tracker thing, their dots were on top of each other. That's how close they were. But yeah, go ahead, constructors.
So jumping into the teams, I'll do top 10, and I'll give you the points for the top 4 teams now.
Poor Sauber. Do 4.
So Kick Sauber is in last place, 10th with 0 points. Then you have 9th place Williams with 2 points. 8th place Haas, 7 points. 7th place Alpine with 8 points. That kind of confused me for a second. Then you make a little bit of a jump in the points, and you jump up to 6th place. You have V-Carb with 28 points. You then have Aston Martin in 5th with 58 points. And then you have a big jump into the top 4 teams. So in 4th place right now is Mercedes. They are currently sitting at 151 points for the year. In 3rd place, you have McLaren. They are sitting at 237 points for the year. 2nd place, you have Ferrari with 270 points. So there's really only 30 points, 33 points separating Ferrari and McLaren right now.
And it's like
standings.
Could be like one weekend, worth of points. So,
and then in 1st place, obviously we have Red Bull, and they are sitting at 330 points. So there's a 60-point difference between Ferrari and Red Bull. So very tight battles, very close battles in constructors and drivers championship. Like I said, it's definitely getting to the point now in the season that we're not doing the when can Max win at this point. It's the hey, if who's overtaking who in the championship and what's happening. If Ferrari has a bad weekend and McLaren has a great weekend, how much does that swing it? If Mercedes has a great weekend and Ferrari has, or McLaren has a bad weekend, how much does that swing it? What
that's
happens?
The thing. It was an exciting battle for that 2nd place with Charles and Lando, but now on the team side, if Mercedes, like I said, really figured it out, that just makes it a lot more exciting to have 4 teams in there. Yeah. But yes, there were standings. Preview time. We were almost done. So, like we said, it is a sprint weekend. Let me check again. I did it this morning, and there is a lot of chances of rain for this weekend.
Yeah, it looks like a rainy weekend.
The chance of rain in the description for the rain on Sunday has me thinking it's going to be a timed race.
Oh, okay.
So unless it changed. Okay, no, it's gone up. So this is for Sunday. There's scattered thunderstorms in the morning, then mainly clouds during the afternoon with thunderstorms likely, high around 80 degrees. And it says the chance of rain is at 80%. So maybe not, because earlier it said, I feel like earlier it said that the thunderstorms would be more in the afternoon, but this now makes it seem like not a lot. But yeah, I think, especially if there's, I don't think they race if there's thunder. So if there's a red flag due to weather, they're gonna have to wait. But it could be suck, because I think it's also F2 again this weekend, so that'll suck. But yeah, Saturday looks fine, which that'll be great for quali and the sprint race, and Friday looks fine. So it's literally going to be Sunday for the race. Could be a factor. But yes, so like I said, sprint race weekend, Red Bull Ring, which is a beautiful track. Also, Barcelona was a beautiful track. Those mountains in the background, I don't think I've ever paid attention to it. But yeah, I mean, Austria is Austria. It's like one of the most beautiful places on the earth. So
yeah, it's a very beautiful track.
Yeah, there's a lot of orange this weekend. People, if they don't bring, they're not supposed to bring the flares, will they? Probably. This is also, I can't hear you. Saying, I don't know what I was saying before I lost them.
Bring the flares. Yes, they will bring the flares.
Yes, this is also the iconic track limits race from last year, where everyone, Esteban Ocon is still, I feel like, is giving those penalties because he had like 60 seconds of time penalties. He didn't have that much, but it felt like it. And someone asked
called every 5 seconds for a penalty. Yeah, it feels like it.
And someone asked, didn't they put gravel traps, or am I thinking of another track? And someone responded saying that was Imola. Apparently, FIA did ask the Red Bull Ring to also put gravel traps because Red Bull owned the track. They were like, no, we don't want it. So track limits are probably going to be very, very big this weekend, which will come into play, especially during qualifying, a lot, because track times will be getting deleted left and right. But yes, so we said sprint weekend, race weekend. Do we want to give predictions for both?
Yeah, we'll do sprint and the race.
Okay. We can do sprint, and then race. Like, you do your sprint, I'll do my sprint.
Oh, okay.
You do the race.
I see what
you're saying.
Yeah. Sprint weekend. Who is gonna perform? You know what? I'm gonna hop on the hype train a little bit, and I'm gonna go Mercedes is gonna perform better again this weekend. There's really no kind of evidence that I'm using to make this prediction. I'm just saying it. I do think, though, while I do think they will perform better, I don't think they'll get P1. So I'm going to go, I think for my race and for my sprint predictions, I'm going to go max P1. I think you're in your home rank.
It's also the Red Bull ring.
Yeah, you're in your, I think he's going to get P1. But I could see Mercedes coming in P2 during the sprint, which would be really cool to see. And then I'll stick with my favorites with Lando P3. Yeah.
For sprint, okay, I'm also going to say Max for P1. I'm going to say Oscar Piastri P2. He just has a different kind of confidence, I feel like, when it comes to sprint races. I don't know why, but I think he does. And then I'm going to say Charles Leclerc, because I think there's going to be a fire lit under his ass after this past weekend. So,
that would be fun to see.
Yeah. So Max, Oscar, Charles, sprint, race, go.
My race, I'm going to go. I think it's going to be, Max. I'm going to go Lando P2. I know it's kind of repetitive, but I think there's going to be a fire lit under his ass as well, just because he's so pissed off about losing this race. And then I'll go, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go Max, Lando, Oscar.
Oh, double McLaren.
I'll go the double McLaren podium. I'll go with that.
Okay. You're going to like mine or you're not going to like mine? Okay. I'm going to do Max P1.
Okay.
If Ferrari has the race pace under freaking control, but I could see, maybe this is kind of delusional, but it worked out for me last time in Monaco. So I'm going to say Charles P2, Lando P3, but I'm going to say it's going to be very, very close.
Okay. All
like
right.
a Perez and Alonso from last year in Brazil. Like that,
I
like
see what you're
very
saying,
close.
yeah.
So, but that's only if Ferrari can figure out the race pace. But yeah, so
Figure their shit out, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll do Max, Charles, Lando. But obviously that could easily P2 and P3 could switch. But yeah, there are
All
race
right.
predictions.
I like it. Very cool.
Right. Announcement time. And then we're
Announcement
wrapping
time.
it up.
I'm so excited about this. So
I have no clue.
You've no clue what this is. So I'm excited to see your reaction to it and get your thoughts on it. Because it's going to be really cool. So obviously we are a part of the Underground Sports Network. We have a plethora of shows that we have fun with and we hang out with and whatnot. And we are starting. I just got off the phone with Kyle for this. I'm doing a little plug for it.
Does he know you're doing a plug?
Yeah, he knows I'm doing the plug.
Okay.
Yeah. He told me to.
Okay.
We are starting and we are making our first ever company-wide show.
Ooh.
And it's going to be called Light the Flame, the Olympic Podcast.
Ah!
So we are doing an Olympic show.
Let me on.
It's going to be very kind of loose and very kind of just like, hey, we're talking about the Olympics, but we're going to do it every 2 years. We'll gather. We'll all kind of have like everybody, people will be on different episodes. We'll have different rotating hosts in and out, like all this stuff from across a company to cover different sports. Obviously, like I'm a big swimmer. You love gymnastics.
Mm-hmm.
There's golf. There's basketball. There's, all this, all these sports that we can cover and talk about. And we thought it was a really cool way for everybody in the company to kind of
that'd be cool.
Merge onto one show and do it and everything. So we're starting this show. We're going to start covering with Paris this year. And we said we're going to do it every 2 years for summer and then Winter Olympics. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So like I said, it's called
Kyle. There's a lot of swimming coverage that could go on.
There's a lot of swimming coverage. Yeah. So it's so cool because it's like, everybody has so much sports experience throughout their life and everything. Mm-hmm. And it's everybody else has like, their interests in their sports of whatever they like and whatnot. So it's like, we can get so much, we can talk about it so much. So yeah, like I said, it's called Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast. It is available on Apple Podcasts now. You can go and follow the show. I didn't check, but I'm assuming it's on Spotify as well. If it's on Apple Podcasts, you can go follow it there. Make sure to go follow the show. We're super excited about it. Kyle is beyond pumped. He sounded so excited on the phone when I was talking to him about it. And I think it's just such a cool idea for all of us to have one show to kind of go under and go on. And like I said, it's almost like it's the underground sports show because it's all of us from every show across the entire network.
Yeah.
So super cool, super excited for it. It's going to be coming this summer, like I said. Start covering the, Paris 2024 Olympics.
Which will be cool.
Yeah, we'll go from there. So that's a super quick announcement. I'm beyond excited for it. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
So excited. That'll be so much fun.
Yeah, but
I feel like that's all I watch those 2-3 weeks anyway. So
that's it. It's literally just all that runs on the TV. Is
like
pure Olympics.
Like thank you F1 summer break. It's probably the fastest summer break's ever going to go because we're going to be able to watch the Olympics for those 3 weeks. Like take it all in. It'll be perfect. No, that's exciting. I just texted him. I said, Owen just told me the news.
It's gonna be really cool. So yeah, again, Light the Flame and Olympics podcast. You can follow it on our socials. Part of our link tree. It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait for it.
I'm excited. That'll be so much fun. I could talk about the Olympics forever, so that will be fun. But yes, I will close us out. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 66. No order 66 from you. I thought you were going to drop it at least once. Okay.
I was going to, and then
you did it in the track video.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for joining us.
I did drop it in the track fact video.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You said it in the track fact video.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week to recap Austria. Let's hope it's, for Ferrari's sake, a little less full of drama. but just as good of a race as this past weekend. And then we will preview Silverstone, and we will preview our second watch party because that's also coming up. But yes, we will be back. Socials have been scrolling at the bottom of the entire show. Please go give us a follow on Instagram and Threads. There's been a lot of influx of Lando Norris fans on Threads today because I think they realized that Lando Norris is actually using Threads and no longer Twitter, so they are all jumping ship. But yes, please join us. And then also please give us a follow over on Twitter. Like I said, we'll be back next week. Thank you so much and have a great week. See ya.
See you later. Now I gotta climb out.